Welcome to Childcare Rockstar Radio. I am your host, Kris Murray. Childcare leaders around the globe are breaking through challenges, leading the way in innovation, testing new best practices, and impacting children and families in a much more powerful and positive way than ever before. Each week, join me for interviews with early childhood leaders and experts that will leave you inspired to become the next childcare rockstar. Now, let's go. This is episode 203 of Childcare Rockstar Radio featuring Brett Neller. Hey folks, welcome back. I've got a good one for you today. The CEO of LineLeader, powered by ChildcareCRM, is none other than Mr. Brett Neller, and he is on the podcast today as my guest. We're diving into all things business intelligence, BI, as he refers to in the podcast. And ChildcareCRM is a leading enrollment operations platform in the early learning space. If you don't know about LineLeader, this is the episode for you, because not only are we going to dive into foundational concepts around why you should be using an enrollment operations platform, what you can benefit as a small to mid-sized childcare business or a large childcare business. And in fact, we dive into the large enterprise clients that LineLeader serves with hundreds of locations globally versus the smaller private, quote unquote, mom and pop childcare center businesses that have 1, 2, or 3, or 5 locations. What can each niche learn from each other? And you might be surprised to hear some of the things that Brett reveals on this podcast. We talk about the future of the industry. Are we at a crossroads? And no matter where we are in this world, it's important for you as a business owner to lift the fog. If you are feeling like things are murky, you're not sure if you're winning or losing, or if you're heading in the right direction, it's time to lift the fog and really dive into understanding the basic and advanced metrics of your customer journey. So this episode is titled, What's Your Customer Journey? Which means from the moment that they think about possibly looking into the world of preschool or daycare for their child, or they find out that they're pregnant for the first time. Imagine that family. Most of us have been there, right? That first moment that you hear that the doctor or nurse says, "You're pregnant, congratulations." And then the incredible 9 months of that journey as a new parent ensues. And you might be thinking, that is the moment when they might be thinking about, well, how are we going to tackle this potentially very costly or very uncertain world of childcare for our child? What's best for us as a family? And so you really want to tap into those emotions, to those feelings, to those questions, and give certainty and guidance to that new family. So that's the very beginning of a customer journey, typically for parents. And then all the way through the journey, many, many decisions can be made on changing childcare centers, looking for camps, looking for summer care, looking for a new type of more flexi care. There's so much going on in the industry today here in 2025 that we probably couldn't even have imagined that we'd be sitting here. So I invite you to lift the fog and listen into this episode. It's a good one. It's juicy. Brett is coming to us from Chicago, and he, da Bears, da Bulls, diving into the Midwest and all the parts of the United States, North America, and beyond, because again, LineLeader is a global company, and this podcast has a global listenership and viewership. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Without any further ado, we're just going to dive in to learn about what's your customer journey and how to lift the fog and pierce through that veil of uncertainty using business intelligence, using a state-of-the-art enrollment operations platform. Enjoy. Welcome back, everybody. I am very excited to introduce you to my guest today, Mr. Brett Neller from LineLeader, and powered by ChildcareCRM. Brett, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having us today, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast.
Great to have you here. Where are you right now?
I'm in Chicago, like I call it Chicago, but Chicago suburbs, right? So not our headquarters is in Dallas, DFW area. Just moved into a new office in Addison, Texas, and I'm actually on the road a lot, right? I go and visit customers and go to shows, and I head back to Dallas once or twice a month. But I'm in the Chicago suburbs, so it was really
All right.
convenient. The Success Summit last year when I got to drive there versus fly there. So it was great.
Yeah, that's cool. Love that. Yeah, I loved being in Chicago again. I actually lived in Chicago as my first professional job out of college. I worked at Leo Burnett, which is a very well-known large ad agency, the largest ad agency in Chicago back in the day. So back in the late 80s, not wanting to date myself too much, but yeah.
I'm a Midwest guy. So I was born in Michigan, and everybody from the Midwest kind of runs through Chicago at some point. So I love being back in the Midwest. It's home.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Well, tell us a little bit about your role at LineLeader. How do you serve the early childhood education industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with LineLeader since over 6 years now, which is crazy to think about. I started in December of 2018 when we were just ChildcareCRM, and Chuck needed some help, kind of just like growing the business, right, and taking to the next level. So I started out as kind of a jack of all trades, doing a little bit of everything, primarily in the finance, business ops function, and over time. I just loved, and I've had two kids, or my wife has had two kids. I haven't had two kids. My wife has had two kids. I've been at ChildcareCRM LineLeader, in growing, seeing them grow up while being involved in like the technology that supports the childcare centers that we send our kids to has been really eye-opening and a phenomenal experience to have like both professional and personal kind of overlap. I didn't know, like when I started here, that I was gonna love this. I had worked for big Fortune 500, 100 companies for a long time. And then I had this opportunity to go work to like a mid-market business. And I found my calling, right? Like I love it. I love the mission behind the space. I love having kids, and then being I drop off my kids every day at childcare centers, right? So I'm in it every day. I see the operators. And it's been fun to like live the professional journey in parallel with the personal journey of raising kids. And over time I just kind of fell in love with LineLeader ChildcareCRM and the mission behind it, and had the opportunity to step up as CEO in October of 23, and no looking back, right? Like I love it. So we're out here today trying to provide the best unified platform experience for childcare center operators. And I always say, if there's a operator or a center, if you're like a 1 to 2 center and you're super happy and you're not looking to like grow your business necessarily, there's still like valid, you should consider LineLeader, but we're really like, we have a lot of firepower behind what we offer in our platform. And it's really looking for those that are looking to grow and kind of accelerate their portfolio. So we offer unified tech stack. We call it enrollment operations platform. I think CRM kind of undersells it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a CRM aspect to it, but like if you're really looking at mapping out your customer journey and all the different like the aspects and the operation within the enrollment aspect of the customer journey, we see ourselves as an enrollment operations platform with the CRM. And over time we've expanded our tech stack to include management system and family engagement application. So our thesis, right, is to provide the best unified platform experience for staff and for parents from a digital experience perspective. So that's our goal. We're working towards it. CRM has been around for, the enrollment operations CRM platform has been around for 15 years, right, at this point, which is crazy. I think our 15-year birthday is this year. And we're bringing along the management system engagement application to match kind of the level of functionality that the CRM offers.
Yeah. So taking it back to 2010, which would have been your founding year or something of that nature, I just want to tell the story briefly of how the relationship between Childcare Success Company, myself, and the founder of ChildcareCRM, Chuck Gibbs, basically started back in that year. 2010 was a pivotal year for my growth and my company as a founder. The story goes something like this for people that don't know. And Chuck Gibbs, by the way, as the founder, is on this podcast early days. He's like in the first, 30 episodes or something.
Yeah.
And so because it's been such a pivotal journey for both of us, I wrote the book, The Ultimate Childcare Marketing Guide, the pencils book, which is like shown right there behind me. And when I wrote that book and it came out in 2012, but before I wrote that book, I was teaching people all about how to track their enrollment metrics and what is an enrollment funnel and how do you track leads and why does it matter, and tracking the conversion of leads to tours and tours to enrollments and how to follow up with people and all of those principles that, like, lo and behold, I'm like teaching that over here with webinars and, trainings. And then somebody on my list said, hey, somebody I was doing an enrollment boot camp with was like, have you ever met this guy named Chuck Gibbs? And I was like, no, who's that? And they were like, you really need to talk to him. He's creating a software that basically does exactly what you're teaching. And you're teaching them how to do it with spreadsheets, but he's creating a software that does it. And I was like, really? So I met Chuck at a trade show, or maybe just called him up. I don't even remember, but it was a fast friendship. I subsequently took my kids out to his condo in Steamboat, stayed with he and his wife, Nancy, went skiing together, did all this business joint venture stuff together, all of this cross-promotional stuff, brought him to my events. And he's just a really, really, really good guy, just like one of my favorite humans. So I just wanted to share that because that's like the 15-year journey that we've been on together. And now you're here. So it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, he speaks fondly of those times. I think there's a funny story he tells about your first kind of event at a hotel, and like looking at where it was to where it is today is mind blowing. Like the evolution of what you built. And I love Chuck. He is, I refer to him as my crazy uncle, and we still talk very regularly and lean on him for support. And he is the reason we exist today. He's a founder, and what they do, he laid it all on the line back in the day, just like you did, right? Trying to create something special. And the two of you together, it was magic. So I appreciate the shout out to Chuck. I know he's a huge part of why I'm here today and why I'm so passionate about the company, because it was contagious when you met.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And it's just cool because we both saw a pent up demand for what this enrollment best practices, trainings, software, what this tech stack could bring to the industry that didn't exist. And so being both like entrepreneurs that can see a possibility and like a need, like we went and built it together, but we're building it separately, but side by side, kind of, it was a very, very cool.
Complementary.
Yeah, totally. And so when he was talking about that original meeting, we brought him to our first summer mastermind with the Childcare Success Academy. And he came to Boulder, and he came to, I think it was a little Homewood Suites hotel, and he did a session, and we had 6 members. We had six members of the Childcare Success Academy of the first year. In 2012, and now we have 300. So it's pretty cool.
Like think about that grind too, for both y'all, that's so he speaks very fondly of those early days, right?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Really complimentary. So
so good.
I love the history. So it's really important to for it, right?
Yeah, I think it's important to reflect back and then like see where we've been as companies and see the impact that we've made, and then celebrate that with our teams. It helps us build a great culture. And really celebrate our accomplishments, and then sets the table for where we're headed here in 2025. So let's get into that. So before we do that, just tell us a little bit. You mentioned you have kids and that you're married. How old are your kids, and what's life like at home for you right now?
So I'm a father of a 5 and a 3-year-old. My son is going into kindergarten, which is also mind blowing. Like, he went to orientation last week, and I'm like, what is orientation for kindergarten? We're already there. My daughter's 3 going on 25, and she's a ball of energy. She's a fury. She's my son's like, really, like, he's a good kid. Tells on his sister all the time, does everything by the book. And then my daughter's the one that's like, she's the one that's gonna be smoking cigs under the bleachers at high school,
Right.
But it's a fun dynamic, and they keep us busy, right? So we're getting into the swimming lessons and soccer practice, and there's no downtime on the weekends. But life at home is fun. I have an amazing wife, Kayla. We've been together 8 years now, and she's a rock. We both work full time. And I think that's something interesting, because we rely on childcare, because if we didn't have it, we wouldn't be able to fulfill our professional kind of endeavors. And that's kind of like, that's why I love what we do, right? To try to make the operators' lives easier. But life is fun. It's crazy. It's super active, and a lot of bedtime stories, and playing with Frozen and movie. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. We love it.
Yeah, I've been in similar journey to you. My kids were 5 and 2 when I started the company, and now they're 22 and 20.
Okay,
so
right on.
Yeah.
We started, I would say, like, traditionally later in life. But it was actually think it worked out for the better. But it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed being a father, and we do our best to balance kind of the personal, professional life, and compartmentalize and separate. That's something I've maybe learned that I need to be better at, is you got to shut off when it's dinner time and bath time, and you got to devote 100% of your attention during some specific hours in the day. And that's always hard to separate and put the phone down, or not answer messages and stuff. But learning every day, trying to get better, and but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And what is a fun fact about you that not that many people know?
Oh, interesting. I grew up as a military brat. So my father was in the Marine Corps for 45 years. I was born in Michigan, but when everybody asks me, like, where I'm from, it's always hard we moved every 2 to 3 years growing up. And we lived overseas in the United States a bunch of times, we've been through the DC stuff with the military. And I think I give a lot of credit to the moving and the experiences I received growing up. I take them for granted. We had the opportunity to live in Europe, and my field trips were very different than field trips in the US. Like, we would go to Paris on a field trip, and that sounds crazy, and I didn't think anything of it as a little kid, but I'm very blessed for the experiences I had growing up as a military brat. And the values of the military were instilled in me as a kid, like honor, like integrity, and all those good things. And I give a lot of credit to my parents for keeping it together, and moving it around every 2 to 3. They were high school sweethearts, and they're still married today. And we moved around a lot. And there was a lot of, I don't know if everybody feels like, if you're not a military kid and your dad's gone for holidays and deployed in dangerous areas, I think that's something maybe I don't talk about a lot, but a lot of who I am is because of how I was raised in a military family, and being part of being a military brat, I like to say.
I think it's funny that military brats refer to themselves as military brats. Like, it's just,
everybody does. It's not, there's no negative connotation. If you're a military brat, it's a badge of honor.
Exactly. Yeah. My boyfriend is a Navy kid. So he likes to say copy and like all sorts of like military terms. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what is this? Where are we? No, anyway.
I grew up in the yes ma'am, yes sir era, and
Yes.
that's kind of what I was
Uh-huh.
surrounded by.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some military aspects that I look back, I'm like, yeah, I probably wouldn't act or say that if I didn't have that exposure.
Yes. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Let's dive into what's going on at LineLeader, and let's start with some of the basics. And I recently did a session. We did a virtual event in March, and my session was, what is a CRM? Why must you have one? Especially if you want to scale your child care center business. And what are some best practices around the CRM, and maybe, having an enrollment specialist and those kinds of things. So, what is what is the basis of the software that is LineLeader? And then talk a little bit about, as a tech stack, what have you added more recently to try to, with parent engagement or other components at LineLeader?
Yes. So CRM at its basics is a lot of marketing workflow automation, right? It's how do you, if in the aspect of childcare, if a family is seeking care, how do you leverage technology to nurture their journey along the way to get them to register for your childcare center? And that at its core functionality is what a CRM does or is. For us, we've taken that and we've built upon that to better service more childcare specific operations. In the CRM, if as you get to a certain level and scale, there's something referred to as like enrollment teams, right? So an enrollment specialist, where you take away the functionality of the CR or the accountability or the usage of the CRM at the childcare center, and you bring it out and centralize everything around like parent comms and parent communications, and let the sender focus on doing one specific thing, which is executing the tour. That's the most important aspect of the family journey when they're seeking care, is that you need to execute a great tour.
Yes.
If you don't, that's the make or break point where a family is either like, I'm in or I'm out. And
Right.
so our CRM, again, automates a lot of the communication to get the family to actually enter into the door. And we've tried to figure out how to take away aspects of that customer journey, so that the center director only has to do one thing, which is execute the tour, and you can pull out all the other functionality and have it at the corporate level or at the enrollment teams level. And that's kind of like, I would say, what we do and try to do best, and try to make it take as much off the center operator. And people say AI, like we've been doing workflow automation for 15 years, right? And people pass off workflow automation as AI, which is fine, but it's something we've been specialized in and know what the perfect or what the best kind of customer journey looks like for a center director out of the box, so they can hit the ground running.
So in the beginning part of the funnel, the enrollment funnel, or the journey, what we've got, these parent communication automations set up. So you've got potentially email, text. So you're helping centers create their best copy and email and text, messaging to try to get to stay in front of the parents, to build a relationship with the parent digitally, right?
Yes.
To get them excited and interested to make sure they come in for that tour. So we're optimizing the conversion of a lead into somebody who comes in for the tour, who walks into the door. Is that
correct? It's like, how do we provide a really professional digital experience so that we can engage with families seeking care, to get them to want to take a tour, to encourage them. It's a bit of a sales process, right? It's
sure.
And people think that's maybe a dirty word sometimes in the childcare industry, but it's a little bit of a, how do you encourage them or entice them or nurture them to give you a chance to service their family with care? And that's our ultimate goal, is how do we fine tune that customer journey along the way to differentiate you, whether it's like digitally from digital copy or marketing automation to differentiate you from your competitors. So they give you a chance over another one because there are only a certain number of time in the day that they can go seek, parent centers and do tours. And you got to be the first to deliver the first punch, I guess you would say, to get them to consider you over somebody else. So time is of the essence. You need a platform that's working for you in the background, right? Without while you're running your business, but still, nurturing the family along the way so that they give you a shot.
And then we have to train the team to use the system to make sure and hold them accountable so that they're collecting all of the information of the parents, and then the child. And also just, there's stages where they go along this journey. So they're going from just calling you or actually just going to your website and maybe
scheduling a tour directly into the platform. So like there's especially in today's age with millennial parents, they don't necessarily want to talk to you. They just want a service experience to come see your center. They can enter the funnel in several different ways, whether it's through a call, through an online inquiry form, or we have tour functionality or tour availability scheduling functionality implanted directly on your website. So a family that is interested, wants to schedule a tour, they can enter your funnel very late in the stage. So you're not even nurturing them by scheduling a tour directly on your website. And then that enters in the CRM. The CRM sends automation to remind them of the tour. And then again, the center director or whomever on site, at that point, it just needs to execute a really solid in-person tour.
Yeah. And I'm really glad that you mentioned that because the phone experience and especially the tour experience needs to be top notch. It needs to be A+. And that is a focus that I think sometimes smaller operators, many of whom are listening to this podcast, forget to inspire and manage their teams to make sure that their directors are doing a plus tour that is I call it a wow experience.
Yes.
And you are absolutely selling, even though sales might be a dirty word in childcare, we kind of flip that on its head early days. It's like, you have to get your teams excited about engaging and selling your school. Like it shouldn't be a dirty word. It's like we get the opportunity to serve this family. Sales is service. And so let's just use that service mindset and get our teams excited about being able to win that family over so that we can actually make a difference in the life of that child. You
can have a really buttoned up digital experience to get them in the door, but if you fall flat on the tour, if people aren't smiling or engaging with families while they're touring, you're not sharing the added benefits of your center. Whether it's you have a musician, like my childcare center has a gentleman come in every week and play guitar to the kids. I didn't even know that in the tour, but if I had known that in the tour, there would have been that's a huge benefit that folks and operators I don't think they give themselves enough credit for. They do all these things for our kids, and parents want to know that the experiences that they're offering our kids when we're entrusting them to watch them for the full day is really important. And one added aspect I'll just plug in our CRM functionality is, we have something called the tour kiosk. So like if a family's coming in, operators should feel okay about scripting that a little bit, right? And giving their teachers and their directors outlining exactly the points they need to hit on. And we have functionality in our platform to allow whoever's executing the tour to take a tablet along with them and hit on all the scripted kind of value-added benefits of their center along the way and take notes. And the notes are really important. If you hear something about the parent and they're, we're moving, or there's some personal aspect of that you can pick up to be able to acknowledge that after they've left, is really important. So you got to capture that information. That's all held in the CRM or can be held in the CRM for follow-up purposes. So the tour is one aspect of the journey, but it's probably the most aspect of the journey because you're so along in the sales process. You got them in your center. And it's at that point to highlight all of the great things that you and the teachers and the operators do on that journey. So yeah, it's interesting. And then the CRM, obviously, like the automated follow-up post tour, right, is critical as well. So it's the tour is the Super Bowl of the journey there, from the customer journey looking for registration. But if you can pick up something personal along the way, have that in the CRM, and then message around it or send some follow-up related to that and have it captured on the family record, that also is a differentiator.
Yeah, 100%. And now more than ever, because we were going to dive into some trends of what's going on in the industry, but there's more centers right now struggling with getting fully enrolled.
Yes.
For a bunch of reasons that we've talked about on prior platforms. But it's that tour is more important now as it ever was, even during the recession when we started in 2008, 2009. We're really in this interesting time where the affordability is an issue. Parents are having fewer children, fewer babies are being born. We're in this post-COVID world. Things have really shifted. And so, guys, if you're listening to this and you realize that there's still holes in your process, or you feel like you're probably not doing the best tour ever, it's time to really sit up, listen, and to fix these holes, plug in these holes, because it's going to be the thing that's going to make or break your center, to get you from 65% full to capacity to 95% is like the biggest game changer ever. But you got to have a CRM, and we definitely recommend LineLeader. And then you got to have best practices and scripting, which is what we provide over at Child Care Success Academy, is the scripts, and you guys do too, but the phone scripts, the tour scripts. I love the iPad or the tablet, walking around, capturing those little nuggets, like this family, these guys are Packer fans, and we're gonna follow up with them with some Packers swag or whatever. Like, nobody's doing that, but those are the little things that I call the little hinges that swing big doors, and those are those little hinges that will change your business.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone and anybody that comes to us and says, "Hey, we want a CRM." The first thing we generally ask is, "Well, what's your customer journey, and have you mapped it out?" And that's a really important. I know you all help operators with that, and we do as well. But it's you from start to finish. Like, how do you want to show, or how do you want to represent yourselves to the market? And then along the way, what are all the things or different tasks or workflow automation you want to have in place at every stage along the enrollment journey? But mapping that out, CRMs are great, but you really need to map that out before you kind of go all in the CRM. And you can help with that. We can help with that. That's really important. I would say, like, the number one thing from a process perspective: dust off your customer journey. If you haven't looked at it in 5 years, things are different today. The market's way more competitive. The cost per lead is up. There's more competition out there. Everybody's on the web. So when parents are shopping, there's a lot of options. So I would say, if you're going to do one thing every year, I would recommend dusting off your customer journey and tweaking it to fit the trends or the market today, as parents are changing from, especially millennial parents coming.
Yeah. And what I like to do is I like to create like a little alias email and go put my information into my competitors' websites and see what happens. And just study and evaluate my competitors' journeys and what is their messaging like, and what are they doing that's cool that I could model, not steal, but model, or how can I better that? So those are all amazing best practices. Let's talk a little bit about, LineLeader is serving a lot of large enterprise clients, as well as mid-sized chains, and then the smaller mom and pops. Looking at those 3 different blocks in terms of size, because we're helping the smaller guys scale up to become mid-size, is generally where we play. So is there anything that you see that, like, the larger enterprise childcare chains are doing that the smaller folks should be doing, could be doing, might not be doing as well, and or vice versa? Are there things that we can learn about studying these different niches inside the niche?
The larger operators obviously have more resources, right? Because they've reached a certain level to where they have some discretionary spend to do, have different jobs associated with like running their business. The one thing that where they mature and they get to this next level is somebody dedicated 100% to looking at the data, like the business intelligence side of childcare. And you can do that through a lot of different ways, but they're hooking up data warehouses. They're really diving in and understanding why folks are converting. And if there's a stage in the journey where, tour scheduled to tour completed is down, mining that data and going very deep to understand the science behind why that's happening. And it is an art and a science in marketing. And I think those that up market, they know the art, and I think everybody can do the art, but they excel at the science behind it and really diving into the data and understanding like what's working and not working and diagnosing it. So they do that really well, and they're very sophisticated around how they're looking at the data and mining the data. They definitely have more resources to be able to do that a lot of the time. But at least they're at a minimum, you're looking at your conversion tracking, reporting, and understanding, year over year where maybe you're falling off or improving. If you're improving, how do I amplify it? If you're falling off, let's diagnose it and tweak that customer journey to make sure that we can get back to benchmark levels. So the other thing that they're doing is anytime a larger operator can streamline or centralize something, they will. I think the centralized call center teams are a big aspect of the bigger operators today. Some still actually they believe that the center owner and operator or the center director is like the general manager of that business and should own all facets of the organization. So there are actually some that decentralize it. It really depends on what they're looking to accomplish there and kind of what their brand objective is. But data is king across the board as you go up market, and the level of sophistication they're looking at mining that data and diagnosing what's maybe not working is next level. So that's if as a smaller operator, I would if you're not, you definitely should be leaning on your data more than ever, because the data is going to tell the story, and trying to understand what's working and not working and looking at year-over-year trends is critical. And I think operators in general in the space are becoming more sophisticated, even the smaller operators. So you have folks that are tech savvy, understand the data, and that's where I think you'll win and beat out the competition if you can diagnose maybe where certain trends are falling. And you can diagnose them quickly and be super agile. You're gonna do really well.
Yeah. If I'm an operator with 8 locations and I am busy trying to scale to 10 or 15 locations, and I want to get more sophisticated and start potentially mining my data or just getting more into it, would I look for a data mining company, or are there softwares that help with that? Like, how would I get started with that?
Yeah, I think there's one, we can help you if you're a user of our platform. It's really understanding your reporting suite and leveraging that to the fullest capability. You don't have a sophisticated reporting suite, and you don't understand, you don't have visibility across the portfolio of your centers, and it's not easy to aggregate that data. That's probably step one. There's solutions out there like ours that do that really, really well. And you should not be intimidated by the reporting suite. You should try to understand that. I mean, we can help you can help with that. It's one, you need a system to capture the data first. If you don't have anything capturing the data, you're flying blind. That's step one. Step two is leveraging whatever platform you're using to feel and being comfortable analyzing the data. And your service provider, whether it's us or somebody else, should help you with that. And I think 3, if you want to take next level, we hook into Power BI and business analytic tools out of the box for you to leverage. It's kind of like you got to crawl first, right? So you got to capture the data first, and then as you get into the reporting suite of the system you have. As you get more comfortable with that, and you want to go even deeper, There are easy ways to tie into really affordable like BI tools. We do it every day for operators to build out dashboards. So you can
Right.
leverage firms to do that. You can leverage people to do that. You can leverage technology platforms like us to do that. And it's kind of like a maturation process as you learn more, become more sophisticated, understanding and mining the data.
Yeah. So somebody I just interviewed on the podcast, she's got 6 locations in Omaha, and she's using a virtual assistant who's skilled in doing data collection and creating and keeping their scorecard up to date. So she has a business scorecard or dashboard that she has her VA updating every week. So that's a good start, is just to be collecting the data, looking at the data, having a scorecard, having key performance indicators that are helping you run your business and have clarity into the performance of your business. And then you can go a little bit more sophisticated. Once you're sure the data is being collected and it's clean and it's accurate.
And you understand.
Yes.
Right? Like that's
right.
Then you can go next level. And like there's a lot of affordable ways to do it. Upwork's a great resource out there. If you have more, like if you need somebody, I need somebody to set up a Power BI instance. If you're a Microsoft, if you're already on Microsoft or whatever, or even a Google like suite, there's really affordable options to help you move the needle from a data analysis perspective that people don't appreciate or maybe don't know about. It's not that expensive. It feels intimidating. It could be like, oh, that's going to cost a ton of money. Like, no, it's really not. There's so many tools out there today that can get you to that next level of data analysis that are really easy to set up.
Nice. Love it. What is on the horizon for you and for LineLeader that you're excited about? What features are you working on bringing to an industry, if you can talk about that, or just what are you excited about for the remainder of 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think it still goes, it goes hand in hand with the theme of like data analytics. We're going to continue to build out, marketing analytics within our CRM platform so that you don't have to go elsewhere you don't need a Power BI tool or you don't need a BI team. We're going to put it directly in the platform for you. So I'm excited about the marketing analytics and where we're taking that part of the CRM platform. In general, we spent a lot of time on unifying the data across the entire tech stack. So if you're in the CRM and that data flows seamlessly into the management system, how do you get a 360-degree view of the family? And how do you start to understand what the ideal family profile is, and how do you maybe have tweaked journeys for various different profiles of families? So starting to really diagnose the specifics and details around the customer journey and how do we help you tweak them on the fly, or how do you have the system know, kind of like machine learning wise, like how's the system know what journey this family should go on versus what journey this other family should go on. So I'm excited about that. We spent a lot of time, again, unifying the platforms. We built this really cool registration layer on top of our management system. So we're seeing a lot of growth in the before and after school programs where centers maybe aren't full during the day, but leveraging their facilities for after school programs or before school programs for an additional way to make money. And we built this e-commerce self-service parent journey to pick days, pick extracurricular activities. Again, taking the administrative burden off of the center so that there's this e-commerce digital experience for a family to sign up for before and after school care when you're sleeping at night, right? So when they're up late at night trying to find care for their kids, that's another aspect of what we built that we think is really, really interesting and fun. That is another way for revenue generation for a childcare center if they want to leverage it for additional services beyond their long day care type of offering today. So
yeah, I love that. And that brings up segmentation, which is a big piece of what we were teaching early days, is really you've got 7 or 8 mini businesses inside of a business in a childcare center, because you've got each classroom and you've got a before and after, and maybe you have other, like some of our clients have a birthday party business or enrichment oriented business or tutoring. So all of those integrate, but to really optimize the revenue from each of them and understand where there's pockets of lower than optimal performance. For example, in your toddler room, that might be like a place where it's just this stuck point because you can't enroll toddlers as well as you can enroll all the other age groups. But if you don't segment and dive into the data, you don't have that clarity. So yes. I think that's a big piece that people need to be doing is a little bit more of a sophisticated approach for some. But guys, you got to segment your data and dive into all of the age groups, the classrooms, what's going on in these mini businesses inside of the business if you really want to get smart and make a lot more money.
Yeah, and it's hard to do that and even think that if you don't have the fundamentals around like harnessing the existing data for your existing operation, right? To your point.
Yep.
How do you know how your infant room is performing if you don't have that data segmented? It's this massive glob of aggregation that is really hard to lift. You gotta lift the fog, right? How do you lift the fog on
yes.
all that information so that you can feel good that you know exactly what's going on? And I agree with you there. You got to get the data, harness the data. And if you can harness the data and start mining it and understanding what's going on in your business, it'll be eye-opening and you're going to excel and win.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, Brett, this has been an amazing conversation. I can't believe we're at the end already. It flew by. Any final thoughts, and also give your contact info so people know where to find you and find LineLeader, and any other final thoughts for the audience?
I'm a parent. I thank all the operators out there. It's so important to the fabric of the communities you serve. My wife and I, we couldn't work full time without you, and you're an underappreciated but thank you for everything you do. You help more than I think maybe you realize sometimes. I know that working in a center is challenging. Your patience is more than mine, and you all do it because you love what you do. So as a parent, thank you so much. And if there's any way we can help you run your business, grow your business, please check us out, www.lineleader.com. We do webinars. Check our platform out. We're happy to show it to whomever. And we have the right people in our team to help map your customer journey and figure out how we make you really, really successful. That's our ultimate job. We need the childcare industry. It's really important. We need all operators to be very successful. There's a lot of headwinds out there, and we want to make sure that we're helping you fight off those headwinds.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brett Neller, CEO of LineLeader. It's been awesome. And thanks everybody for tuning in once again. Hopefully you got a few little writer downers and nuggets. I'm sure you did. Thanks everybody, and take care and God bless. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Brett.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. I hope you liked this episode of Childcare Rockstar Radio. If you did, please leave a review and share it with someone you know to help spread the word to friends in our industry and on social media. Childcare business success is my passion, and I'm honored to be on this journey with you. As a thank you for listening, I've got a new video training that shows you how to add 6 figures or more of new revenue to your program in the next 60 days by improving your hiring and your enrollment systems. To watch my new video, just go to www.fixmyschool.com. That's fixmyschool.com. Thanks. Take care and God bless.